Hey Patrick, it's Yandra Conrad, and it was a pleasure to meet you in last week's networking lunch. So, here is the full website audit video I promised you. We're going to be comparing your website versus your main competitor, and I am going to give you a mini SEO lesson. Not too much to overwhelm you, but enough to understand how this all works because I do want to be able to help you bring in more leads for your business, and hopefully, this video brings you value. So, today, we're going to talk about three main things. The first is what we call the Google Map Pack. Second, we're going to review your website content. And third, we're going to talk about backlinks. And then we're going to tie it all together to show you how you can potentially have 75 new clients every month and save over $3,000 from marketing efforts. So I really hope this video helps. So let's get to it. So basically, when a customer searches for your service, they will Google it, right? So I went ahead and searched up self-defense classes in San Antonio, Texas, because that's where you're located. And this here is what we call a search result page, right? And this section right here is what we call the Google Map Pack. And to the left of that are Google Business Profiles, or what we call GBP for short. As you can see, Google only boosts the top 3 businesses in the area, and that's why you want to optimize your GBP. And I know you said you're a mobile instructor and you don't have a brick and mortar, but it's still good to have a GBP for your business because when people are searching for your service, the first thing they do is to Google it, right? So definitely invest in having a GBP or create one yourself. That's going to help bring more leads to your business. So I'm going to give you some tips on how you can optimize your GBP so that you can land on these top 3 spots. Okay. So when you expand this list with more businesses, this is what you typically see. But like I said, not everyone will click more businesses. They usually land on these top 3 businesses, and that's why you want to optimize it. But the first thing you want to do is you want to focus on your photos, right? That's the first step into optimizing your GBP is to have at least 100 photos on your GBP. I know that sounds like a lot, but let's face it, pictures are a great way to make a decision, and a lot of people base it off of like the quality of your work, what kind of services you offer. So definitely giving them an idea of what you do will definitely help your business. It's also great for the rankings, so add at least 100 photos. The second thing I wanted to mention here are reviews. You want to make sure you add reviews on a consistent basis. This is a great social proof as well for your potential customers, is to have reviews. So definitely import that in your GBP if you have reviews on Yelp, on Facebook, and other socials. So the third thing I wanted to mention here is what we call a citation. A citation is basically your business name, address, and phone number as it appears on your GBP. Now, you want to take that information and apply that to all the famous citation sites on the internet. So some examples are Yelp and BBB, and there are other citation sites out there as well. You want to take your business name, address, and phone number and put it out there as much as possible, right? Because it is a popularity contest. You want to have more citations than your main competitor because it is a huge credibility factor for Google. And the more citations they see across the internet about your business, the more they're going to recommend your business to your potential customer. Okay. So I hope that made sense, but basically this map pack area is where 30% of your business comes from, and you want to make sure you're appearing on here because that is going to help bring in more leads to your business. Now, the next section below that is what we call organic search rankings, and this is where 70% of your business comes from, and that's why it is a priority to optimize your website, because if you optimize your website and you're popping up on the first spot of Google for all the search terms related to your services, then you could be bringing in more leads even if you're sleeping, right? It's not a 1-to-1 ratio to your effort where you have to pass your business cards and tell people about your business. Basically, you're just here whenever people are interested in self-defense classes, right? So it's much easier to find you that way and be able to serve those people. So I'm going to take a look at your website and give you some pointers. This is your website, and I love what you're doing. First of all, like when I heard that you were offering self-defense classes, I thought it was totally awesome. So I totally support what you're doing. I think it's absolutely amazing. And I can tell that you did put in some work on your website. So great job on that. My first critique for you is your website content, though. So basically, the words on your website is what we call website content. And you do want to have 1,500 to 2,000 words of content on your website for each of the pages. So if you, for example, have other services that you offer, self-defense classes, create a separate page for that, talking about what kind of self-defense classes you're doing. Or if you do private trainings, definitely add that as a separate page. You want to add 1,500 to 2,000 words on each page. And that sounds like a lot, but there's a reason for that. Within that word count, you're going to include as much buyer intent keywords. So what is a buyer intent keyword? Well, basically, when people are searching for your service, they usually Google it, right? And when we started this video, I searched up self-defense classes in San Antonio, Texas. This is a buyer intent keyword. Basically, what your potential customers are searching for on Google when they're looking for your service. Now, it can even be more specific to Krav Maga classes, San Antonio, Texas, Jiu-Jitsu classes, San Antonio, Texas, right? It really depends on what services you offer, but you do want to be ranking for those keywords. So when people are searching for that on Google, you show up. Okay, so that's kind of how it works. I really hope that helps and you start implementing that. Now I'm going to pull up my web crawler program to show you how your website is performing on the back end versus your main competitor. So this is my web crawler program, and this is what's happening on the back end for you. Basically, you're only using one of those buyer intent keywords we talked about, meaning if people are searching for self-defense classes in San Antonio, you're not showing up. And that is a huge missed opportunity, right? Because you want to be ranking for those keywords so that you can bring more traffic to your website and therefore more leads to your business. So definitely add in more of those keywords and formulate your own content behind them and add that to your website. That's going to help your rankings. The second number I wanted to kind of talk about is this backlink number right here. So basically a backlink is just a link from a separate website that links back to your website. So think about it as like a popularity contest as well. You want to have more backlinks than your competitor because this is also a huge credibility factor for Google. And the more backlinks they see, the more they see these websites vouching for your business. So let's take a look at your main competitor to compare. Okay, so your main competitor is gracebara.com. They are appearing number 1 on the map pack. And as you can see, they are using 65 of these buyer intent keywords we talked about. Again, you're only using one, right? So definitely look into the keywords that they're using and formulate your content and add that to your website. You're going to also start ranking for those keywords. The next thing is backlinks. They have 8 and you have 0, right? So when you think about it in Google's eyes, they see 8 websites vouching for Grace Barra versus they see 0 websites vouching for you. And this is kind of a social proof thing, right? So it makes sense that they're going to push Grace Barra, right? And that's kind of just the surface level of how SEO works. But I really hope that made sense. That if you focus on your content, adding the keywords that are important to your services, and then adding backlinks to your website, that's going to help push you higher on that ranking and bring in more leads to your business, right? So now that you know a little bit about that, let's tie it all together. Right. So let's just say that you start implementing the things that we talked about today and you work on your content, you work on your GBP, and you're ranking first on Google. Well, this is the amount of traffic that's going to be coming into your website, around 1,500 people clicking on your website, because that's what's happening to your main competitor, Grace Barra. Basically, there's 1,500 people clicking on their website, checking out their services. And of course, not everyone who visits your website will become a client. So let's just say 10% of that website traffic are buyer intent leads, meaning people are interested in knowing more. So that's 150 inquiries or people calling you to ask, oh, how much does your self-defense classes cost, right? Of course, not every inquiry will become a client. So let's just say half of that become clients. Well, that's 75 new clients to your door every month, right? And this is just positioning your website at the right place and time when people are searching for self-defense classes, right? So that's kind of how SEO works and what you want for your business. I actually do not recommend people paying for ads because ads are just not a sustainable way of going about your business, because once you stop paying for Google ads, you're not searchable on Google anymore. So it's just like renting versus owning, right? When you're renting an apartment, like you don't really own the house, but you're still paying. But if you're paying your mortgage, then you own the house eventually. Like, so it's definitely a better way to invest in organic search. So definitely work on the things that we talked about: your website content, bringing in those buyer intent keywords, and adding more backlinks. That's gonna help your organic search. So this is how Grace Barra is also saving an extra $3,000. So the number below the traffic number reads 3.1K. While my web crawler program, this is just the way that they're showing it, but this basically shows you how much they're saving every month on marketing efforts. So they're also saving an extra $3,000 just from ranking first on Google, because as you can see, they're not paying anything for ads. They paid $0. And I kind of feel bad for this lonely guy up here, sashitokai.com, because he's paying for ads to be on top, right? Versus his competitors not even paying for ads. And I think that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that that's possible, but not a lot of people know about it. And that's why I'm so passionate about just spreading this information, giving you value, and just helping you like understand how this all works. So of course, this is what I do for a living, and if you need help with anything, I would love to kind of just talk about it and see where I can help, right? So I actually looked into your other competitors as well, the ones that you sent me, Premier Martial Arts, which honestly they are bringing a huge number of people to their website, but I did look into it because they do have multiple locations, so that's why they have 20,000 people on their website. So this isn't an accurate representation of what you want, because you don't have multiple locations right now, but this is the potential of your niche. This is absolutely crazy, right? Another one that you sent me was Victory Ma. They are bringing in 5,000 people to their website, and they are saving $9,000 on their marketing efforts just from ranking organically. So that's insane. And yes, Premier Martial Arts is saving $44,000 just from ranking organically and making sure they're implementing their website right. So this is primarily how they get their leads. But of course, I think you mentioned that it's kind of hard for you to because you're so niche and you have different services you offer than most self-defense training classes. That's why another avenue of traffic for you is social media, which is actually great. So GBP and organic search is just one way to bring in more leads, but social media is definitely a huge asset that you can also take advantage of, right? So I actually looked into some examples for you, and this is Krav Maga in Israel. I'm not sure if you do Krav Maga, but this is just an example of how they utilize social media to bring in traffic, right? So basically they post reels, and I actually looked into your reels and things that you post on Facebook as well. I definitely recommend that you create more reels regarding how-tos, like how to block a punch, how to do this when an attacker like grabs you, like something like that, because those educational pieces will help people understand that maybe they do want to be trained by you, right? Because you do want to pose yourself as an educator in this space and as an authority. So you want to show them like what you can do for them. And that's very important, right? So definitely look into doing more content behind that. And that should help bring in more traffic in your socials as well. Reels is popping off right now. Short form videos are a fast way to bring people to your website. So definitely look into that as well. So when I looked into Krav Maga Israel and their website, they do offer a lot more private bookings, training camps. They even do instructor certification course. So I think that this might be a good opportunity for you if you have like online classes, or if you train other instructors on how to do techniques right, especially if you don't agree with how people are going about self-defense in this space. So that's also an opportunity of income for you. So just bouncing off ideas, but let me know if this was helpful or not. I'd love to talk about it more and talk a little bit more about your business and how we can help. But thank you again for watching this video, Patrick. Have a great day.